I am George Hutton, and you are listening to the Mind Persuasion Podcast. Today we'll be covering the first 3 language patterns of the Milton Model, also known as Covert Hypnosis. This first particular pattern is called mind reading. It's not a pattern like some of the other ones, as it doesn't have a specific structure from a linguistic standpoint, but it does lend itself to clearly being an engineered skill or technique that will give you quick and powerful rapport with your target. It's fairly simple and seems quite obvious from the inside out, but people have been using this pattern for hundreds, if not thousands of years to trick people and claim some supernatural powers to gain influence and bilk people out of their hard-earned finances. So it goes without saying not to go too far with this pattern and only use it when you are truly after a win-win scenario. It works like this. Think of some things that must be true about the person you are speaking to, either about the situation or about life in general. For example, most people in life have goals. They may be small, they may be large, but most people have them. And among people's goals, some seem easier than others to reach. Some may be short-term goals like going to McDonald's for lunch. Some may be long-term, like finishing a master's degree. By simply being human, most people will have a set of goals, with some being easier to reach than others. When you plug that basic information into this pattern, it may sound like this. You seem like somebody that has some goals in life, somebody that has a fairly clear idea of where you want to go. And you also seem like somebody that has more than one goal. You probably have many goals. And while some of these goals may seem easy to reach, some may seem a bit difficult, and you may be wondering now, as you think about these goals, if there isn't an easier way to achieve them, a way that would almost guarantee your success. That would be the perfect thing to say if you were somebody that sold self-improvement products. You would sound like you really knew what you were talking about, and your target would be much likelier to express some kind of interest in your product. Here's another example. Let's say you are talking to your friend and he or she is thinking about making a big, perhaps life-changing decision. What do we know about decisions? Everybody has made them. Everybody has made hard decisions, and everybody has made easy decisions. Everybody has made decisions that they later regretted, and everybody has made decisions that they were proud of making as they worked out very well. And everybody can remember feeling anxious before making a big decision. Assuming that you think making this decision in question would have a positive effect on your friend's life, you may say something like this. Now, I know you pretty well. I know you've made some pretty big decisions in your life, and you're the kind of person who can tell the difference between a decision that didn't work out so well and the ones that did. I can also tell that you can remember feeling anxious before most major decisions, right? Which is exactly how you are feeling now. Anxious. But when you recall all those times that you felt nervous before and made the decision anyway that turned out to be a pretty good one, it kind of makes that anxious feeling go away, doesn't it? Because I know you can remember those anxious feelings you felt before you made those really good decisions, I think you'll agree that this decision that you are thinking about now will likely have a pretty good outcome. A great way to practice this is to just go out people watching and imagine things that have a very high probability of being true regarding the people you are watching. Look at the situation, look at their age, look at their gender, look at the kind of clothes they are wearing, their brands, if they are reading something or talking to somebody or texting on their phone, whether they seem hot or cold or whatever else you can observe, and then make up some statements that are true about them. Then you'll get really good at coming up with 3 or 4 things quickly. And when you can get good at coming up with 3 or 4 things relatively quickly, you can move on to trying this with your friends, both old friends and friends you haven't met yet. Our next pattern is called the lost performative. Suppose I wanted to convince you that studying hypnosis is a great way to make money, and I wanted to leverage an authority figure. Let's say that authority figure is Dr. Melvin Finkelstein. So I could say, Dr. Melvin Finkelstein believes that hypnosis is a great way to improve your communication skills. This would only work if you knew who Dr. Finkelstein was and you accepted him as a legitimate authority figure. Luckily, there is a way to make the referencing authority sound extremely vague. Consider this, for example. It has been proven time and time again that conversational hypnosis is the best way to improve your communication. I'm still saying that hypnosis is a good thing, but now I'm referencing a very vague element. Who exactly proved it? How exactly did they prove it? How many times did they prove it? None of these questions are usually asked by the listener. They just kind of fill in the blanks, usually on their own, usually quickly and usually unconsciously. And so the way it works is you get the idea into their mind, but they're using their own idea of an authority figure to support your idea. This, of course, means that there will be very little resistance to the idea. In order to create this pattern, start off your idea with statements like, "It has been proven that," "It is widely accepted that," "It has been known for years that," "It is widely recognized that," and then state your idea. A great way to practice this pattern is to go onto any forum that receives a good amount of traffic, and you can argue things that are hard to prove one way or the other. Use this pattern and see how people react to it. You can also try this with your friends down at the bar if you wanted to get free drinks. It has been a well-known fact for centuries that those who buy drinks for others are much more highly regarded than those who receive the drinks. Our next pattern is called cause and effect. There have been many psychologists and philosophers over the years that have claimed that the brain is nothing more than a cause-effect generator, creating imagined relationships between events in the outside world. While this may not be entirely accurate, it is true to a certain extent. Seeing one thing and then seeing something else happen in the same order a couple of times, and then developing a cause-effect belief about the pair of events is a huge time saver when it comes to cerebral processing power. For example, if you were a caveman and you smelled a distinctive odor just before seeing a tiger, you'd certainly remember those two events as linked, so that in the future you'd be able to smell that smell and then run away quickly without having to wait around to see if there was a tiger nearby. This powerful brain process can be used effectively in persuasion. You phrase your idea as some kind of cause and then use a generally desired event or condition as the effect. Buying my product will cause you to be very happy. Learning hypnosis will cause you to become very popular. Learning hypnosis will cause you to become more seductive. Learning hypnosis will cause you to become wealthier. You can also turn it around and lead with the desirable effect and then imply the cause to the positive effect. If you really want to be successful, you should study these language patterns. If you'd really like to become more seductive, you should learn hypnosis. If you'd really like to become popular, you should practice language patterns. You can also link an increase in one event or condition to an increase in another state or condition by using the more, the more. The more you practice these language patterns, the more popular you'll become. The more you practice these language patterns, the more money you'll make. The more you practice these language patterns, the better relationships you'll enjoy. Another way to make these sound a bit less obvious is to phrase them other than a direct X causes Y statement. This can easily be refuted with a simple "no it doesn't" or "no I won't." Another way to say X causes Y is X leads to Y. X can make Y a real possibility. X is naturally followed by Y. You can also soften it up even more by quoting some other group, either real or vague, effectively combining this pattern and the previous pattern. Many people have discovered that learning hypnosis leads to increased popularity. More and more people are starting to realize that the sooner you start to learn hypnosis, the more money you'll make. It's been proven time and time again that by learning conversational use of the Milton model, you'll easily become the most persuasive speaker that anyone has ever come in contact with. And of course, as I'm sure you've realized by now, that the more you practice these patterns, the easier it will be for you to use them just the way you want to. I'm George Hutton with Mind Persuasion, and I look forward to speaking with you again.